Listen, I'm in my 30s, but this video is why men in their 20s aren't dating anymore. We about to get some insight. Put a like on the vid.
We always want what we can't have, eh? Why is it that the grass is always greener on the other side? Let's go for a drive and talk about it. So I was thinking about this the other day. It seems to be pretty 50-50 when it comes to like relationships versus being single. And I think low-key, girls like being in relationships more than guys because as men, we're taught, as well as naturally, are more independent, and we like to rely on ourselves a lot more than other people. And this is something that I think is just like a genetic difference between men and women, but also ever since we were young, we were always told to just deal with our own shit. And oftentimes, especially like when you're a young man, you don't have anybody to go to. So you actually do have to face your own demons. Like I remember in high school when I was going through tough times and I was dealing with like bullying and girls and just problems in my life, I didn't want to tell my dad or mom about it. And I also didn't really want to open up about it with my friends. So as much as I would have benefited from sharing my issues with other people, I just fucking dealt with it. I just fucking sat on it and ate it. And I guess you could say that's a little bit toxic. But anyways, because of that, men and women are very different. Men rely more on themselves. So we have like these walls built up around us, and the idea of like being in a relationship with a girl is something that we always pretend we don't want. One, it doesn't seem cool, it seems needy, and your buddies will rip on you for it, like, oh, you're a pussy, like, bro, like, why don't you go hang out with your girl? You know, and I've been that guy too that has talked shit about my friends when they started hanging out with a new girl, and I'm like, bro, you never hang out anymore, man. Like, come on. Why'd you let her take your balls away, right?
I don't relate to this at all because a lot of the people I was around were about getting babes. And I remember even when we, like, we would say the B word a lot. Of course, I do. I'm just trying to keep it clean for the channel right now. But listen, I remember my dude was feeling a girl and we called chicks the B word all the time. This is like when I'm like 18. Man, I called the chick a B word. He was like, man, don't call her that. I made fun of him for that. So it's a little different. It's a little different.
But at the same time, like, girls do not want guys that do want a relationship. And I know that sounds ass backwards, but like when you treat her like a queen or a princess and you're trying to do cute shit for her all the time, it actually makes you come off as needy, which is weird, right? It's the guys that are distant and cold and playful and keep things light and relaxed and seemingly like mixed signals. These are the ones that the girls go crazy for, especially when, they're in their 20s and they're trying to pursue their highest option. So
women don't make sense. That's just what it boils down to. And that's why I learned early that, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's better to just pursue a smash than to actually pursue a relationship, because they are more willing, this is going to sound crazy, to give up the box to a guy that they like than to give a relationship to any guy that is pursuing a relationship. Even then, it's weird dynamics. Like if they look at you as like relationship material, they then tuck the box away and then they try to make you jump through hoops, like go on 6 dates, 51st dates like you Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler and stuff like that. So just a lot of weird dynamics that don't make logical sense until you get into like some deep psychology. Ooh, in the caveman days, like, some old stuff like that. We're not doing that today, though.
I apologize if it sounds like I'm making blanket statements here. Let me just give you a little bit more context. I'm talking about girls and guys in their 20s, maybe in their early 30s. Girls are getting all this attention from the super high value guys, but high value guys have a lot of options. They can date pretty much any girl they want. In fact, they don't actually have to be with one girl. They can date multiple girls and get a little bit of sex, a little bit of intimacy. Maybe one girl is like your regular girl that you date and you go out in public with, but there's still a couple girls that you see on the side. And that's what guys, especially once we've like developed the status, the skill set, the money, and we have independence, that's what we always wanted. And what's funny is we have to work our entire ass off like in our 20s to get that, hopefully by 30, or just be a woman and get that as soon as you're like 19 years old, because so many girls are currently seeing multiple guys at once. And What happens is usually it's around this time of year, so like November, cuffing season. They're like, I want a guy I can bring back to my family. I want somebody to spend the winter with. I don't want to have to keep going out on Fridays and Saturdays. I'd rather just have one guy that I could like settle down with. And that is what happens during cuffing season. So that's where girls get into relationships. But
I'm gonna be honest, just based on what I see, what I actually see, and what I see is like the cuffing season, the narrative and all of that stuff. It was cool in the 2010s, in the 2020s, and even the late 2010s. That's dead, man. These chicks done had a lot of lonely winners. When we talk about commitment, they might have had some situationship during the cuffing season and stuff, but most of these chicks are not getting cuffed. Most of them are not getting relationships.
I think it's so interesting because like it's very entitled and narcissistic of us, but we essentially want the best option possible, especially when we know we have a lot of options. And I know that I might be speaking to the choir.
See, there are a lot of issues with just this right here because men and women aren't the same. And I understand he's trying to generalize and stuff like that, but we're just not. So if you look at women, the issue that they have is delusion. They think just because they smash a high value dude that they can get cuffed by a high value dude. That's not the case. As where with a man, the difference is the buck pretty much stops at smashing. Like if we could smash, we typically know we could get a relationship because a chick is supposed to press us for a relationship. So as a man, we don't have any delusion in where we stand. We don't have any delusion in what we can attain and what we can get. So if we talking about smashing and wanting the best option that we can get, the key word is that we can get. So we know what we can get, we know what we can't, and we could get what we could get. If you want something that is out of your range and out of your reach, you recognize that it's out of your range and out of your reach as a guy. But chicks, again, all this, I mean, it's deeper than just smashing the high value guys, all the attention and validation and stuff they get through social media. But listen, they are filled with delusion when it comes to them wanting the best option that they can get. It's not necessarily the best option that they can get as far as a relationship. It's just the best option they can get as far as smashing, and they think that that is what their relationship options are. And even then, some of them just go based on social media narratives and, oh, I'm not doing no 50-50, and just a lot of solipsism and entitlement and things of that nature. So it's like it's completely different when it comes to men and women. It's straight delusion when it comes to a lot of women.
Here, some of you guys are like, oh yeah, I know all this. But some of you, right now, you're on the point in your journey where you're happy to just get with one girl. Or like, you can't even approach girls in real life. You don't have any friends, so you don't really actively talk to anybody outside of your like close-knit circle. So even the idea of like going and talking to a new girl sounds like, wow, that'd be great. That'd be amazing, right? I bet it does. Because I've been there too. I've been in the same position as you where like, I went months without really hanging out with anybody new. I was just really working on myself, getting my shit together. And I convinced myself like, women are a waste of time. But you know what? Let's be honest. Bad women are a waste of time. Women with red flags that are a fucking headache are a waste of time. Women that complicate your life, as opposed to complement it by adding to it, are a waste of time. But that's your fault for attracting them, okay? There are good women out there. You just haven't met them. So until you actually
Oh, brother.
go and talk to them and put yourself in an environment where you would meet high quality women.
And what environment is that? What environment in America is harboring high quality women that is hidden away from all of us? Because it's really our fault. It's our fault as men. We attract these horrible women. It is just, oh man, we just attract. He just went from saying that some dudes will be happy to just be with one chick to hitting us with the, well, you only attract bad chicks. Like, listen, I'm trying to get to the meat and the potatoes of why 20-year-olds don't date. So I'm not trying to go in on this point, but I'm gonna just say like a really good woman in America, in the West, whatever, is extremely hard to come by because of the culture that has been cultivated since at least the 60s and 70s and built all the way up. It pretty much began to like get past the boiling point in the 80s and 90s. And then, we're really facing the consequences of what has been built as far as this foundation that really poisons women, if we being honest. And in 2024, we are way past boiling. The pot is burning. The actual cast iron or whatever it is actually burning. It's not even cast iron. The pot is still like it's some other material, because cast iron, I've never heard of that like setting on fire and burning, but other pots will definitely burn through if you make it too hot. So that's what's going on when we talk about women in the culture, feminism, all this stuff, all of it that has made it very hard to find a air quote good woman. Even a narrative about that's what you attract. That's not really how the game works for men. That's not really how the game works for men. Like, the reason that is said to women, as far as, well, that's the type of guys you attract, is because their job is to put themselves out just to be seen and in different environments to get approached. So the guys that are being attracted are the guys that are typically making the moves, right? When we look at a man, if you are attracted, like, cats talk all this choosing, like, sometimes a chick that is into you won't send no fucking choosing signals. And at the end of the day, you have to decide who you go up to, who you don't, et cetera, et cetera. Like, everybody don't operate on the same principles when it comes to the game. As far as like me, I go by, I like who like me. Some guys don't do that. They like who they like and they go after who they like. And some guys are good at building up that attraction with their personality and stuff like that, making chicks turn over and stuff like that. Some guys aren't, and they struggle with that. But whatever, man, it just doesn't work the same.
You're going to keep attracting the shitty ones. So I guess you're right in a sense, like, yeah, women are a waste of time unless they're high quality women. And that's the thing that I was kind of getting to when I talked about how as men we develop this sense of independence and boundaries where we don't need anybody else. We put this wall up so that we actually don't let the good women in. And the one reason we do that is because, actually there's two reasons, okay? The one reason is we're so afraid of being hurt. If you've ever gone through a rough breakup or a relationship that ended and like a girl left you or cheated on you, or even if you ended things with her, but like you really loved her, it's fucking devastating, man. And it makes you feel like you'd never love somebody else again. And you go, fuck this, I'm not emotionally available. Like, sure, you might recover. It's still in the back of your mind sometimes. Like, we all have situations like that. But you're thinking now proactively, like, fuck, I don't want to make myself that vulnerable again. I can't go through that shit again. And that's tough. And that's why we find new things to love. Because when you put so much heart and soul into like a relationship and then it doesn't work out, you're like fucked. You're like, what the hell? I put all this effort into this and I can't even be with her now? Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now? And that's where guys go on their winter arc. They start lifting fucking new PRs and just grinding in the gym every day. Or let's say you got fired from your job. Now you don't hang out with those people anymore. You lost your status. Maybe you have to switch careers. You basically have to recreate yourself. And that takes a lot of effort. And it's so fucking annoying. And that's why most guys would rather not just stay in a relationship anyways. Now, the other thing that happens with guys is, and I'm not just talking out of my ass here, guys. I've worked with thousands of guys. And if you ever feel like you need help with your dating, relationships, starting a business, usually I work with guys that are making 6 figures a year. You can check out my courses and my mentorship in the description below.
Oh man, I'm tempted to stop the video right here, bro. I'm tempted. So the video is about to take a sharp left turn. So this is what's going on. I continue recording. I did my background checks. It didn't even go deep. This is as shallow as I went. What you see is on the screen. Dude is like a pickup guru or some shit like that. So in the previous version, I said a lot of stuff. I want to be more clear and concise this time around. So, again, sharp left turn, we are going to begin to talk about him, and then we are going to get away from him. And this is why I need to begin to click the profiles and figure out exactly who I'm reacting to, because that was a mistake I made. I thought this was a regular guy in his 20s, and I've accidentally reacted to a guru that I've never heard of. But if you look at his numbers, he's out of here. 300,000 subscribers. All I'm going to say about him is, for somebody who charges men for advice on dating and women, thinking that guys are attracting the wrong women is the issue, is insane work. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of science, and this will apply to him to some degree as well. Some history. So back then, in the RSD era, when Rollo Tomasi was trying to emerge and So Suave was going down, some of you might not know about any of these things, but just follow me. RSD was like some pickup artist shit, right? Rollo Tomasi was like one of the guys who began to pioneer the red pill on YouTube. So Suave was a forum that existed since the 90s. Since the 90s, and that is where a lot of the stuff that you see today began to culminate as far as the red pill. So listen, it's very simple. I'm going to make it very simple. When it comes to not just RSD back then, but also just the pickup community, this was an issue that they had. They would never want to answer anything related to any red pill type questions or anything like that. And that still applies to some degree to this day. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you two reasons. The first reason is, when it comes to these guys, they are more game focused than anything. They are more focused on getting women than actually retaining women, keeping women, building relationships, understanding women, protecting yourself from women, things of that nature. They don't really want to touch that because that is not where their focus is. So when you look at that, it's very funny because they actually had a dude on like the RSD forum, and he was like, he used to have like this journal up and all this stuff. And the issue that he had was, okay, he did all these approaches. He began to be able to get girls, but when it came to relationships, he was getting cooked. And even then, if you read like The Game by Neil Strauss, he writes about guys like that, who they know all this stuff, and then when it comes to a relationship, they don't have it. It just don't stick. So in my opinion, that is why you see him saying things like, oh, you are attracting the wrong women, not really understanding how things work. And that is not why there are a bunch of shitty chicks out here, and that there is no place where you're just going to find, air quote, high quality women as far as an environment. There is no environment that just cultivates them. And I'm going to tell you some real stuff. A lot of wild 304s turn spiritual. That is the softest way for me to put it. So even if you think you're going to go and get into some of that, like a yoga class or something like that, no, no. And also, women are chameleons, so they will get in an environment like that and put on a great act. But that covers the first reason that they, as far as those guys back then, tried to avoid talking about any like red pill type stuff or being approached with any of those topics. But this is the other thing. The second thing, or the second reason, will be because it hurts their bottom line. It hurts their bottom line. When you look at the RP stuff, right? One of the core values is LMS, right? So with that, we're saying dudes' looks contribute to female attraction, right? RSD was game focused. So they are focused on what you say and your body language and all this stuff. And again, remember, they're focused on getting chicks. But teaching somebody how to look better is like, you can't make somebody taller. So that's when it begins to backfire on them. So they don't want to touch that at all. So what were they pushing? What were they pushing? They were pushing that looks don't matter. That is what they were pushing. And if they acknowledge that looks do matter, that begins to fuck up their bottom line. So when you look at the two reasons that I mentioned, it can come down to a lack of knowledge or disingenuousness or a combination of both. But I feel the first reason, which is a lack of knowledge, is why he said the first, the thing that I've been mentioning as far as you just attract the wrong girls and things of that nature. That is just a ridiculous perspective, especially with all the knowledge out there. And that's why I think personally, just based on that, he's not really qualified to be making money off of guys who need help in that area. That is just my personal opinion. We are done with him. That's it on him. Everything I say from here on does not apply to him. Let's make that clear. Now listen, let me talk to some of y'all, man. Put your wallets away, man. Put your wallets away, man. You buying that Wes Watson course, you buying that Myron Gaines course is not going to get your life right, dog. You buying that $10,000 night in the club boot camp is not going to get you no bitches, dog. Y'all got to get it together, man. I could really just go in and just start saying a bunch of shit, but listen, I'm gonna break something down for you that you may be aware of or you may not know. When it comes to people who sell a lot of courses, consultations, and things like that, you guys have to begin to recognize that it is a hustle on a severe pain point. You want some business knowledge? I'm gonna give you some business knowledge. When it comes to selling anything, there has to be a pain point. There has to be a problem, and this product or service solves that problem. You don't want to mow your grass. Well, guess what? You can pay a landscaper to take that responsibility off of your shoulders. You want reliable transportation that is not public. Well, they got dealerships that are going to sell you a car. You are thirsty as F. Well, they have a beverage station nearby where they sell beverages, and they're the only one out there. So, hey, you take your money, you go to them, and you quench your thirst. You solve that problem. That, of course, is one of the foundations of all business. When you get to things that are really essential and really primal, things that are they really grip your emotions. They really grip your emotions in a real way. Those things can be your biggest pain points. Those things can be the biggest pain points of any human. Guess what a pain point is for most people around the world? That they don't have enough money. They don't make enough money. They don't have enough money. And don't let you be broke. Don't let you have a strong desire to make more money and you just don't know how. The college stuff is just, you see it's a scam. You know, you want to do something, possibly start a business, whatever the case may be. You begin to seek alternative options because you know you don't have the talent to become like a fucking superstar guitar player. You don't have the talent to become an NBA player. You missed the boat on that. And you missed the boat on being 6'7". But you were willing to work and you were willing to work hard. But you just got to find the right thing to pour your energy into, and you just can't find it. It's just hard to find. You go on the internet and you start typing in stuff, how to make money, how to make your first million, et cetera, et cetera. And guess who is there? A bunch of gurus waiting for you to type in that search, waiting to put the cookies in your browser, waiting to hammer you with ads for the rest of the week, waiting to get you to watch those videos, waiting for you to click the link, put in your email, waiting for you to sit through the free webinar, or to even worse, come to a seminar, free seminar, waiting to upsell you, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is the problem with that. Most of those guys are scammers. Most of those guys are scammers. Now, listen, you don't got to take my word for it. Just go and type in Wes Watson scammer. Go and type in Ty Lopez scammer. He was all over YouTube and stuff like. Just go and type it in, see what comes up. Go to CoffeeZilla's page. Go to Spencer Cornelius' page. Hey, type in Mr. Organic scammers, because you go type that in. You know how nasty it is? Bandman Kevo was an actual scammer, and he is out here selling information on how to get your finances up, and it's not scam information. It's supposed to be legit information from an ex-scammer. Hey, Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, he went to jail for the shit. Came back out, and guess what he's doing? He is selling the information on how to sell. He was talented at what he did. Why not? People sell all around the world. And Bandman Kevo and Jordan Belfort may be legit today, but they were scammers at one point. But those two aside, when we mention some of the other people that I have mentioned, they took a lot of people up top. A lot of people invested in their courses, and it's more people than just those people that I mentioned. And they got fucked. They didn't get, bruh, let me tell you some real shit. People be knowing that Amazon FBA and, these other services be oversaturated. And the likelihood of success is extremely low. You can look at all types of different internet industries, but these guys will come on, and when and I promise you, I know this for a fact, when the information becomes outdated, that's when they want to give it to you. That's when they want to give it to you. When whatever the secret sauce is at the moment, you're not going to find it in any course. You're not going to find it in any course. And even then, by the time you get to this shit, it's probably too late. It's probably too saturated, et cetera, et cetera. But enough about that. The whole point that I was making is there is a strong desire that people have to make money. To get their life better. And it's a desire that everybody has. So that is a desire that is strong within people, and it is easily exploited by scammers. Guess what else is easily exploited by scammers? Men's desire to have sex or women or romance. One of the biggest scams out is dating apps. If you were a chick on a dating app, you get everything for free, and it's like just the greatest treatment that you get on these dating apps. If you were a guy, bruh, you gotta pay to get adequate attention. Apps like Tinder be having all the stats and everything, and they just hammer women with so much attention and just give them so much. It's just, bruh, they make it to where it's like, bruh, they getting 80 million messages a week and shit, right? But you as a guy, you get on, you swiping, bro. They limiting you to like 14 swipes a day type shit. They suppressing you in the algorithm from the most liked people. The Tinder is so nasty that they got like I forget what it's called, because I ain't been on that bitch in so long, but it's like the hot girl tab or whatever. And they will let you get one swipe per day. So you could look at the hottest chicks on it. But if you buy a gold membership, bro, you get 5 swipes a day now. Now you get to swipe the hotter chicks who never answer their messages even more after you pay. So that's real nasty, right? Only thing that is nastier than what these dating apps are doing is these gurus, these dating gurus, bro. They be doing some nasty work. Dudes like FitX Fearless weren't getting bitches. He does not have, you can go all around YouTube and see people reacting to his video. He may look good, but the game is fucking horrible. He is not qualified to be teaching game. And it gets worse. He is scamming you with dick growth courses and shit like that. It gets wicked, man. It gets wicked, man. But the whole point of this, put your wallets away, bro. Just stop it. Just stop it, bro. Figure out what you gonna do for free, man. Figure out what if you gonna invest money, figure out how you can invest that money into leveling yourself up without even buying nothing from these dudes, bro, because they're exploiting you, bro. That's it for today, man.